So what's the next Power 5 job open? You mentioned Dan Mullen right there. I mean, I was doing my little Twitter searches yesterday just to make sure I wasn't straying too far from the house in case we had to hit those sirens. I walked down to the block, but I didn't go too far.
The next Power 5 gig?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if there's going to be another. I mean, Virginia Tech, I think, is the most likely one.
So you
think we know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
which
that's
won't
the thing.
be the
Will there
next.
be one? Exactly. So
Miami or Florida are both kind of the discussion points. I think that both of them could easily be back for 2022 for different reasons. I think that depending on how things go in the next couple weeks, both of them could end up getting replaced.
Cutcliffe. It's not a firing, but I think that'll happen before Vatek because there's no reason to hold on to him late, right? And I mean that team defensively, like they just gave up a 50 burger to the Hokies. I mean, just like they're going back very quickly to being like what Duke used to be when Chip and I were and Danny. Like Danny, they look like the Duke teams you guys put up 100 on, you know. So it's done there. They're not coming back from that. So I would imagine that will happen before Fuente, if Fuente does happen.
Yeah, and if Nebraska's serious about Frost, I don't see any openings coming in the Big Ten. I don't really see any other possible openings in the SEC at this point besides Florida, unless somebody loses and takes another job. I mean, this is just talking about firing. Like, I think it was Feldman who floated the idea of Chip Kelly taking the Washington job.
He also had Dave Aranda as a potential candidate for USC and Washington, which, I mean,
makes a lot of sense.
Dave Aranda, get paid. Because don't you think that Baylor will go into a bidding war with someone who comes to try to take Aranda?
Baylor's got money.
Baylor's got money.
They got a bunch.
Yeah.
Dave Aranda is going to get a huge raise here in the next month.
Yeah.
We just don't know who's going to be giving it to him.
Congrats. Dave Aranda out here winning the coaching carousel. I don't see him moving from Baylor. I see him getting a raise. That is not a report. That is a prediction.
I mean, I feel bad for Baylor because first Carolina takes Matt Rule once he gets things going, and then Dave Aranda keeps going, and somebody might come take him. But if USC comes for Dave Aranda, is he going to turn down the Trojans for Baylor? I mean, he is from California. Or if LSU comes, is he going to turn down LSU for Baylor?
That's what I was wondering. Like, why wouldn't LSU be after him?
Maybe it doesn't fit what Woodward his MO has been.
Yeah.
I mean, if Baylor somehow wins the Big 12, I mean, it's a highly unlikely scenario, but I mean, that's not a splashy big name hire, not big enough.
I don't think it fits like the big name thing. Like he's known for like really overpaying for past.
Who the heck is that going to be then? I can't wait to see this one.
Jimbo.
No.
Yeah.
There's no buyout.
You guys don't think they're going after Jimbo?
I think they will, but I believe Jimbo when he was there. He cannot do that twice. Once at Florida State, and you can see it. And, knowing all that was going on, you look back on and you're like, all right, but it didn't seem as emphatic as the press conference he gave when LSU came open. It was pretty emphatic.
I mean, I'm not saying he's going to go there, but I think that's probably their target, if I had to guess.
But if Jimbo says no, who's number two? Who's the other big name? Because
Lincoln Riley, maybe?
Yeah, and that's because I feel like James Franklin is going to be whether fair or not, James Franklin right now would probably be a tough sell to LSU fans.
Yeah. I could see it being like the Gene Chizik getting booed on the way in. Like, we didn't want this guy.
So does Mel Tucker not have enough past performances to fit the Scott Woodward splashy hire requirement?
That's interesting. I mean, I think he'd be a great hire for him, but I don't know.
Oh, we had a couple listeners commenting about Kiffin. That would fit the splash.
That would fit the splash.
Feldman said something on his podcast about that. Basically, like, given what you just fired Orgeron for, he doesn't think Kiffin's a fit.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I know that Lane likes to mess with his friends, but I also wonder if Lane would want to replace Ed at LSU, considering they are friends.
What if you kept him as a defensive line coach?
That would be hilarious. And
Ed Orgeron
that idea, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, Coach O is contractually required to be an LSU employee and show up at one event per year for like the next 4 years.
Yep.
Until maybe they rewrite the contract and say, you know what, Ed, stay home. We'll still send the checks.
Just shows up to the spring game. All right, I'm here. Coach O got the gumbo going.
No, he just walks him off the bus into games. Like, that's all he does.
Hey, if I could get paid $17 million to walk a team off a bus into the stadium for 4 years, sign me up.
I'll do it for $1 million.